Good morning.
Hey ho, hey ho ho!
Hooey.
Good morning.
Good morning to you all.
Happy Monday to everyone. Hello, Butter Toasted, Odd Oasis, Steiny, an unknown.
101 unknown 101 246. So many numbers to remember.
I just always call them unknown. Like the Pokemon.
Is there a Pokemon called Unknown?
Yeah, you know there is.
Is it the weird shaped one?
Yeah, it comes in 26 different varieties and you can decode them.
Like an alphabet?
Yes.
Ah.
Exactly like an alphabet. You should have a look at the unknowns again with an alphabet in mind.
Never.
Ali. Hello. Beautiful light.
Oh, it's because it's Ecstasy of Gold is playing.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Nice choice. Wow, wow. Hey, Sabu! Yes, we did get a break this weekend. We actually played a game together.
Oh my god.
We didn't play very much of it, to be honest. Could have played more.
I played more of it.
What did I do?
You read books behind me.
I read some books. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. I finished reading a book that I started ages and ages and ages ago, and I read another comic book from beginning to end, and that was also very good.
Scandalous.
Worthwhile. So, hey Oatmeal.
Hey, yeah.
So today I'm working on the Grumps Variations collaboration that I am a part of. Because the deadline for that is in like a month. So it's time to get cracking. Did his chest too fluffy?
Did you say the deadline is... Did you say the deadline is in a month?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mike is unimpressed at the closeness of the deadline.
Yeah.
Don't blame him. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one, for sure. Mainly because a lot of other projects came up while I was doing it, so I didn't really have time. But it's cool. Having fun doing it. And that's what matters.
Do we read manga? Not often. I've read, in the past I read Death Note. I've read a little bit of One Piece. Trying to think. I'm not adverse to it. I like comics.
I used to read a fair amount of it.
Yeah.
I love manga. It's great. I keep trying to make Mike read One Piece instead of watch One Piece.
To be fair, I haven't watched that much of One Piece since I've known you.
Not that you know me, but you are, what, 600 episodes in?
Something like that, yeah.
But I think you would really, really love the One Piece manga. Because it's visually just, like, stunning.
I'm feeling a little bit rusty. So I'm just doing a... Oh! Kofi is now following us on Twitch. Thank you.
Aww. Tis is sending big hugs for the small pair.
And Oatmeal Pechneck. Oh, Oatmeal is now following us on Twitch. Thank you.
Thanks, Oatmeal. That's a good way to start your morning. With some oatmeal.
Kofi says they love your style. I'm gonna guess your style because mine's just a blob at the moment.
Hey, maybe that's what they like.
Maybe that's what they're
Maybe
into.
they're into blobs. I can see that. Thank you very much. Oh, Sunny. That's cool. You can lurk. Feel free to lurk. I hope the writing's going well. Look how tiny I did his hand. It's a little bit too small. It's a tiny child-sized hand. The tiniest hand. I will enlarge it.
In biggin.
Engorgo. Now it's too big. It's like it's gonna slap Harry in the face. I'm gonna remove it and just draw a new one.
Tip says, India, have you ever considered sitting on Doug's shoulders and wearing a big trench coat to pretend to be an adult?
I have
considered
this. Maybe I'd be able to get into bars more. I don't know, but I don't really like sitting on Doug's shoulders because it's very high. It's very high up.
Yeah, she panics and freaks out.
Panic a little bit. I just want to be naturally that tall, you know? That's all I'm asking.
We were in Dunn's yesterday, which is a supermarket here, and India started dancing.
Did I?
Yeah.
I can't remember this.
And you were like, well, I wouldn't call it explicitly dancing. You were sort of popping around, and
okay.
You were like, Mike, are you ever embarrassed of being seen with me? And you were like, what?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah. And I was like, no. I'd be embarrassed to be seen without you.
Aww.
Yeah.
No.
Aha. That's what you call smooth talking.
A smooth peanut butter right there. Not a crunch in sight.
You know what, I might just not worry about colour just now. There we go.
But Mike, you're a colorist.
No.
How can you say that?
I'm an artist first.
You're betraying your clan.
I'm an artist first.
You're betraying your
Colour
tribe.
second.
That's bad juju.
Hey, Hardy.
Hello, good morning. Coffee says that brush is so aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I like it a
It
lot.
must be your brush, right? Because I've only got a pencil.
Just planning out the motion of the figure. I should probably zoom out a little. Try and get the whole. Yeah.
I did the fingers a bit long. It's a bad hand day. It's a bad day for hands. Who knew? Excuse me, hair. Fingers have to go there. Okay, that might be a functional hand. It will do for now. I've got my cup of tea. I should drink some of it.
And they went to bed at half 10.
Do you know what time I went to sleep though?
When?
Like 12:30.
You were awake the entire time?
Oh, yeah, pretty much.
What were you doing?
I watched some stuff and then I started listening to a podcast about people in space. It was really, really cool. It's called, one sec. We did get some good rest tips. I should have got more sleep yesterday. I was like, I'll go to bed early, so I'm super refreshed tomorrow, and then I just went to bed at our usual time. I was just in bed earlier. Ooh. It's called... My phone is very slow. It's an old man now.
An old man phone.
Is
Shouldn't be a generator, just old.
old man phone. It's called Mission to Zix.
They're like ZIX.
ZYXX.
Oh, okay.
Mission to Zix. Intergalactic Improv.
Oh. So
It's very good.
I thought it was going to be some sort of science podcast, but you were listening to some. Is it like comedic?
Yeah, it's like D&D without the dice rolls.
Oh.
It's just we're in space.
Oh, coffee. Yeah. So we live with a cat called Buffy, and that's a happy frame from Buffy.
Yeah, she's adorable. She's not our cat though. She's the person we live with cat. But
Yeah.
she's gorgeous and lovely, and she screams at us when she's hungry. You might hear it towards the end of the stream.
I think she vacated the room. Normally we have a little webcam there in case she's like at our feet and stuff, but she's currently wandering, so it's off. Otherwise it'd just be a picture of her room.
Yeah,
You can hear her though. The bell you hear in the background is her.
Mm-hmm.
She might actually be in the room.
She's a good girl. I don't think she is. Feel free to ask us any questions.
She's at there on the
Any
stairs.
questions at all.
She was snaggletooth as well, so I like popped my head around the corner and she's just like full on staring at me with just like
Snaggled.
with her snaggle face.
She's got a little, one of her lower canines pokes over her top lip. So she does like a look a bit like the Godfather. Where she's like, it's great. Oh, are you whipping out the Buffy cam?
Oh, she's there. So. Oh, it's on, but it's not properly set up.
Oatmeal says, is animation alive nowadays, or is it going underground? I think it's going to be very difficult to kill an art form. So I'd say it's definitely still alive. It's also underground. It's above ground and underground. It's everywhere.
Buffy just managed to successfully walk past the camera while it was off, and then behind the camera.
Lovely.
She's like...
So yeah, there are lots of people who are learning to do animation by themselves, which is amazing. Who don't necessarily need universities anymore with all the free software and all the tutorials and access to experts and veterans that there is now. People can kind of teach themselves. Also, animation as a course is getting stronger and stronger. The big studios, Walt Disney now owns pretty much everything. And
Yeah,
that's a company built on animation.
They seem to be buying up every sort of competitor.
Yeah, The Incredibles just came out and it's apparently fantastic. Like, animation's stronger than it's ever been as far as I can see. And there's also lots of cool indie companies popping up. Especially 2D indie companies. And there's way more 2D animated games now as well, which is really nice.
Well, I think there's a resurgence in 2D games, primarily because indie companies, indie games developers, are springing up more and more as the tools become more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And a 2D game is a little bit more. Oh, thanks for the follows. A 2D game is a little bit more approachable to make than a 3D one is.
You think so?
Well, I think you can sort of achieve a more finished aesthetic.
Yes, I agree actually.
Holy shit, I don't know. We're getting like tons of followers. I don't know if it's like a backlog or something.
I think it's the Buffy cam.
I think you can get like a more finished visual with 2D quicker than you can get with a 3D
Yeah,
game. So if
I
you're new to
agree.
games developing, start with that first, I guess. So with that, you're seeing more kind of retro-ish looking games with sprite art and 2D animation in it.
It's very difficult. I agree. When you're making 3D models, you have to get the texturing right and the lighting right. There's so many factors that can make a model look good or bad. Whereas if you draw something, you are in full control of how that looks in game.
Yeah.
You're not at the mercy of other external factors.
I saw recently though that Unity in 2018 version has released something called Shader Graph, which allows artists to use a visual like node diagram to create and edit shaders now. And then what a shader does is it changes the way that the Unity will render certain materials. So it's a lot easier to create cool visual effects than it is just writing it in writing shaders as code.
Yeah.
There's been those sort of tools for a while, but they were all additional assets that you had to pay for.
Yeah.
So I'm excited by that. I saw a tutorial to make like a disintegration effect, so like it would fizzle in and out of appearance.
There's a certain film that I won't spoil that you could use that for.
Yes. Yeah.
If you were to make a game of it.
I saw that Aline caught a mouse in her house and took a photograph of it to use as a still life.
Oh, adorable. Might show me the picture. It's adorable. You're gonna do some mouse studies. Oh.
You caught how are you catching them, Aline?
Aline, you caught a second one.
Are you using a flute or something?
A flute? That's great, like the Pied Piper. Use your mouse flute, Aline.
Oasis, do we have any advice for them doing their first collaboration? Is that? I'm gonna guess you mean an animated collaboration.
Ooh. Which one is it?
I would recommend if it's in a sequence or something, contact the people before and after you and start chatting with them and seeing what they're thinking to do for their shots.
So you can make cool transitions if you collaborate.
Yeah, it depends on whether you're doing a reanimated or you're doing like a first animated thing. Because if it's a reanimation, then you probably got the shot from the original to follow. So it's a little more. It's not constricted, but like it's more obvious what they're going to be working on, because you just have the other thing as reference. But if it's more of an original one, where you've got the audio, as Swift said, get in contact with the people before and after your shot, and see if you can make some cool transitions with them.
Let us know which one it is and what kind. Like, I'm not sure if all carves are organised the same.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not sure exactly what you have to begin with.
Where is she?
I don't know. She could be anywhere, man.
I'm gonna stop looking. If she appears in the camera, you're lucky. If she doesn't, I'm sorry.
It's not an animation. Okay, what is it? Hey Roxanne, good morning. And unicorn curry. So delicious.
You know?
Good morning. How are you guys doing? How was your weekend? How was everybody's weekend? Oatmeal says, I'm 4 years trying to animate things and I'm not sure of my skills. What advice could you give for beginners for the best impact? Let's see. I'd say if you can find a group of people who are also animators, just to chat with and push you. That's always good to have people to talk to about it. Also, I would say find things that make you want to animate and inspire you. Don't completely worry about doing stuff like, I have to do a walk cycle, I have to do a bloop, I have to do a bloop. While you're starting out, I'd say have a lot of fun and find out what you enjoy doing the most, animation wise, what style you like doing the most, what kind of thing you like doing the most. Do you enjoy animating animals best, or people best, expressions best, explosions best?
It's probably often best to start out with small shots that are little challenges to yourself, not like massive projects.
Yeah, and give yourself short deadlines for them. So do an animation over, say, 2 or 3 days or a week. You know, do an animation that's not longer than 5 seconds. Yeah, Hardik, who's in the chat, is often the person we cite as having improved very, very fast. And Hardik just tends to do very, well, not small, but short clips. He tends to do a lot of short clips. And that seems to have served him really, really well for learning fast and improving. So I'd recommend that.
Yeah.
Give yourself a short deadline, a short acting or action shot to do, depending on what you want to learn. And then do that. If you feel like you're very shaky on the basics, then ball bounces and walk cycles are always good to try. Looking at other people's animations that you like and going through them frame by frame is helpful. Sometimes I do studies on animations. Haven't done one in a little while, but I will download an animation I really like and I'll go through frame by frame and copy the frames. Because more than just looking at it, actually having to draw it myself will force me to have to think harder about where they've put the spacing and everything. Because I have to replicate that myself.
Tibbs has added that a huge push to their animation skills was when they attempted effects animation. It's so freeing to focus entirely on shape and volume and timing without worrying about the anatomy. Yeah, when you want to go pure animation, I guess. There's still those shapes will still be influenced by the same things that would influence a figure, that being gravity and forces. So you're still learning how to move a volume.
I'd say it's definitely applicable. Yeah, like especially when it comes to timing and spacing. It can teach you not to over animate or be too precious about your frames, which is a problem that people have when they start anatomy first.
I think you've got Timbo button? Yeah. I don't know what this pose is. I do this thing where I tend to like draw a figure and then work it out as I go, but it often leaves me with something quite ambiguous. So I'm gonna sidebar that. And India, give me a gesture that I could try and do.
What for?
Just it's like a bare naked lady picture, but like a gesture, something she's doing.
What?
Okay. I meant more of like give me a word, but yeah, you
a
can
word.
Yeah, like.
Oh, you said
verb.
give me a gesture. I thought you meant give you a gesture.
Yeah. So India
you want like something that.
India just posed like this for me.
Do you want me to give you something every day that you could be doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just thinking, because I've always wanted to see like a bear in a bath or showering, because I think it would be fun with the fur. But
that's kind of like that's edging on quite. I don't know if showering and bathing is like an increased level of intimacy and an increased level of like eroticism to it.
But the paintings that you say you're riffing on do bathing scenes a lot.
That's true. I could go for it. I'm not object to it.
What about like reading with a cuppa?
Okay. Here's India as a bear.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Our science school is having a Pride March soon. That's awesome. I knew Tom Curry went to a Pride March recently. Ah, fluffy milk tea. I'm using Toon Boom. But I've heard TV Paint is also very, very good. I think TV Paint is probably better if you're doing just traditional animation. But I really like a lot of the tools in Toon Boom. The advantage of Toon Boom is that it's vector based. So your lines don't lose integrity when you scale or skew them. And the program makes it very easy to scale and skew them. Sometimes I worry that I'm using that as a crutch a bit too much because I can adjust my lines very easily, which doesn't encourage me to make lines that are definite the first time. But I can't say it's not useful. But yeah, I think both are very, very good. I like that you call your face your camera, Tips. I do that sometimes. Like, do you guys ever do that thing where you pretend that your face is a camera and you do like sweeping pans around environments and stuff by like sweeping your face around an environment?
No,
Or you like Tips is doing, you're like and you like your face is a camera.
Yeah.
I just made my pen zoom around my face.
Yeah.
Like, I love doing that. Don't you guys wish that you could record through your eyeballs so you could actually record that stuff and use it as reference? How great would that be?
Hey Emma, welcome to the stream. How are you getting on, buddy?
Good morning. Welcome to the Monday, the start of the week. Let's hope that it's good, but let's hope we don't peak.
Peek at what? Or you mean like...
Peak at Monday, and the rest of your week is all downhill from there.
Downhill Monday. It's a sun cat.
Hey there, kitty, 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 kitty.
Hey dog.
Hey there, kitty, 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 kitty. It's just around my neck.
Came up with a new name for her. So her name is Buffy. I thought we're talking about Harry Potter houses, and you've heard this one before. You know where I'm going with this.
Yes, I do.
But I called her Bufflepuff.
Bufflepuff.
She's such a Bufflepuff. Look at that.
Mike?
Yeah?
I was thinking, if we ever get a cat of our very own,
Yeah?
can we call it Dumblepaws?
Dumblepaws. Dumblepaws. No. You can call it Dumblepaws as a affectionate moniker. But...
Why can we not call it Dumblepaw?
Because no. No. You could call it. She's. What is that expression? It's like half between she's just about to break out and laugh, half smug. Like, I made a joke.
I'm meant to look annoyed.
Oh.
It's not working.
You're not very good at looking annoyed. I just looks constipated.
Oh. I'm constipated with anger.
Tibbs likes Dumblepaws.
Thank you. It looks more like he was up in the last picture I drew of him doing this. I
Buffy.
like Hey there, Buffs. Hey, Buffster.
You know, Buffs.
What's this?
What's this? Oh. She's like, I don't like it. Okay.
Thank you, Roxy.
Mouse number 2 moves a lot.
We will. Thank you. You too. Have a great day. I hope that Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 become friends.
Oh, that's so cool.
Aww.
Emma, after hearing Buffy's bell, is like, I want to bell for this cat. So he's found one that was deep in the drawer that must have been, I'm gonna guess, was your sister's one for their cat, rather than you put a bell on your sister.
We must know where she is at all times. Yeah, it's super nice to be able to hear them trotting around. Adorable.
Yeah, I wonder, I guess, like, it was a functional thing first, where it was like, okay, the cat pretty much goes around silently. So, in order to keep track of the cat, I think she's over there licking her butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't see that though, so it's okay. She's hidden by the DVD case. Everyone in Emma's family wears bells.
Hey Buffy, how's it going? Monsha.
Morsha. I like that.
The point of the bell originally was to alert birds that there's a cat coming.
Ah, okay.
I guess for people who didn't want their cats bringing in bird corpses all the time.
That makes most sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just like it when she hears that you've like come in the door and she's like and you just hear the kind of like ding
Tinkle, 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 tinkle.
ding 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 ding. Yeah.
And then she lies in front of you, rolls around on the floor. There we go. Someone's hungry now, I believe.
We won't feed you though.
I'll never feed you.
No. You know.
Aww.
That is like direct eye contact there.
She's like, feed me, human. I'm using my glamour on you. Oh yeah, I watched What We Do in the Shadows.
You did, yeah.
Finally.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was hilarious. I love the werewolves.
I thought you would enjoy that.
I love the werewolves. Yeah, that reminds me of the Twitter game that I was telling Mike about.
What other game?
I was browsing my Twitter feed and there's someone on my Twitter feed who was like, I'm of the opinion that everyone I know squarely falls into one of two categories, vampire or werewolf. And it usually feels fairly obvious which people are to me. So anyone who comments on this, I'll tell you if you're a vampire or a werewolf. And Mike and I were talking about it and we were like, I wonder who we know and what they would be.
Yeah, so we guess what we would be, but you know, let's
but you guys can guess what we would be. Yeah. I think it's fairly obvious what we would be. We thought Tibbs would be a vampire. Aline would be a werewolf, I think. Let's see. Hardick may be a vampire. Do you think?
Yeah, probably.
And that is kind of tricky. And he says Doig werewolf. I think you're a werewolf, Aline.
Hardick was like, hell yeah, get me that blood.
And that is a mixed breed. You're tricky. I don't know. I might go werewolf with Emma. Eileen thinks she'd be neither.
That's not how you play the game, Eileen.
She's a werewolf. Yeah, Tibbs, you were very obvious what you would do. Eileen, frog isn't an option.
Which epic mythical creature would you like to be?
The frog! The epic mythical frog is the most powerful of all mythical creatures, I'll have you know.
Emless is a vampire that constantly assures everyone that he's a werewolf. Says
Yeah,
Tim.
maybe so. Vampires are suckers. It's a good joke. Hey! Hey! What's up?
I'm just imagining a scene where Emma is just getting naked and people are like, "Oh, are you about to transform?" And he's like, "No."
He's like, yes. That's why.
He'd be an exhibitionist werewolf.
Oh my goodness, what?
Oh.
Are you that hungry? You got food already.
This is a squeaky chair.
It is
I tried to sit like cross-legged in my chair, but I'm sitting too far back.
bad mistake.
It's just squeaking. Unless I can transform in other fun ways.
How lewd.
Ludwood.
How lewd. I feel like his body should be further down, so I want to stretch his neck on this frame.
Oh, you are actually animating. I keep forgetting.
Why must I be constrained by where the camera is?
Saw.
You know, no, I'm not going to fiddle with this bit too much because it worked in the animatic, so I'm just going to leave it be. It's fine the way it is.
What were you trying to do?
Well, because his face is stretching, I wanted to stretch his neck too.
Oh, okay.
But I also don't want to mess with it too much because it seemed to work in the animatic.
Yes. She's way to feed her. I think this is a boring pose. You know those days when you're just not feeling it? I'm not feeling it. How do I decide who's a werewolf and who's a vampire? One of my sisters is definitely a vampire, but the others, I can't tell, says Ellie. I think one of them is maybe a bunny. She's so stressed all the time.
A bunny!
She's fucked a rabbit.
That's adorable. Tibbs, I do feel restricted by the camera. Like his head's gonna go off the top of the screen. But I don't care. I want to animate off the top of the well, I don't. I want the top of the screen to just be higher than it was before. Gosh darn it. Diggity damn.
I think I'm gonna get reference.
No!
What do you- No.
Don't, that's cheating!
It's not cheating.
Oh, you have to draw it from memory, Mike. That's cheating. You'll learn faster if you just make it up.
What are you talking about?
How do you expect to be like a good artist if you have to copy other people's work? You just have to keep guessing until you get it right.
You
And then
are
instinctively
giving
know that you've got it right.
bad advice, Duck.
Whatever you do, don't look at a real human form. It's cheating. If you look at real life, you're cheating. That's not art.
She's completely kidding, guys.
I'm not. He's a fraud. Ah! He threw a whale at me. Not a light thing to throw at someone.
Where did it? Doig, just do it. No, I've got it on the other screen. I'm looking at reference. Although I typed in figure reference and it immediately gave me Sketch Daily once it started going, so I'm just clicking through.
Sketch Daily is good.
Yeah.
You can hear her chomping away. She's so demure. She's like, meow, meow. And then you give her food and she's like, she actually does make those noises.
Oh, this could be cool.
Aileen says, stop it, Indian children don't know. It's there. I was joking, reference is a very, very good thing. You can't expect to know what you don't know, which is why reference is important. The only way to learn anatomy is to look at anatomy and learn where everything goes. If you just guess all the time because you think that reference is cheating, then you're never going to improve because you're not correcting yourself or educating yourself using real life stuff.
There you go. You're bad duck.
I was only playing.
Okay, so I've got a reference of someone and they're sitting in front of a mirror, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna do a piece based on this and exaggerate the head a little by making it a bear. That's my plan. But it might be cool to do the back-to-back thing.
Yeah. Tiff says she was looking at images of words to aid in studying Japanese the other day. It sure is interesting what happens when you Google image search hot. And that says lots of Mnet images.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh what?
Well, Tips continues. Maybe not quite as worrying as Google searching the Japanese word for boy. Lots of manga things I didn't expect to pop up.
Ah. Hey, Mr. Smiley. How
Hello.
are you doing?
Hey, how are you? That's a really nice name, Mr. Smiley. It's a very happy name and also probably quite a good name for like a murderer or something. I'm Mr. Smiley.
Come up with a theme tune for Mr. Smiley right now.
Boop, 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 boop.
Cool.
Wait, it's Jurassic Park! I don't steal from John Williams. I don't know what you're talking about. No. I feel like it started off less Jurassic Park, like, and then turned into Jurassic Park.
I think you have certain musical grooves,
Oh,
and that's like your first cut.
What, Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Everything begins as Jurassic Park.
Yeah, so if you had like these grooves that you settle into musically, like that you're musically inclined, and they were like mapped onto surfaces, those surfaces would be a V-shaped valley, and in the bottom, where the river would be, where you ultimate groove, the deepest cut, the deepest groove you fall into is the Jurassic Park theme.
No.
I love your.
It's so good though.
Did you enjoy the latest film?
Yes.
Good.
I did. It wasn't very good, but I enjoyed it.
You didn't think it was very good?
No.
Oh.
I didn't, but I enjoyed myself greatly watching it. We watched it in 4D, and the chairs were shaking, and the dinosaurs were roaring, and there was like water being sprayed in our faces, and it was great. It was my first 4D experience. I will never go to see a film in 4D where I actually care about the plot or anything that happens, because it's incredibly distracting. But for movies like Jurassic Park, it's pretty great.
There's a subplot here where Ali needs to sort of like, where's it? God damn it! Even zoo monkeys don't move this much. And Emily's just like, maybe. Oh no, it's Tibbs. Maybe just maybe the mouse in the jar is distracted.
Maybe it's a little bit scared because it's been caught and put in a jar.
Yeah, how many poops are in the jar already, Ali?
I hope the jar has adequate breathing. I mean, I can't imagine it doesn't. If Aline caught one like last night and it's still there.
Good night, Unicorn Curry. Curry.
Night night. Sleep well and sweet dreams.
Bestowed upon thee
We love you too.
by the Swiftie. Swift dreams.
Swift dreams.
Yeah.
Dream fast and dream well. None, suddenly. Eline's gonna give us some comfort food. That's cool.
I had a weird dream just before waking up this morning. I dreamt that Declan was saying like good night to me, but as if I was like still sitting at the desk, and he was like going to go to like sleep at that point. And then I was dreaming, and then I woke up and I was like, how the fuck did I get here?
That's a bit creepy, Mike.
Yeah.
A bit creepy.
Why is
Maybe you were upstairs.
And I teleported.
Yeah.
That could be so cool.
No.
Teleporting, but only in your dreams.
Scary. 4D, Mr. Smiley. 4D is a cinematic experience in which you go into a cinema where it has installed within it smoke machines, fans, water sprayers, bubbles.
The chair you're sitting in is like, it moves.
It can go backwards, forwards, side to side, and it can like shake.
Yeah, it's like it's attached to an armature that can move in like a you know those kind of roller coaster thing, VR roller coaster things like that.
And basically it's programmed to cue in these things at certain points in the film. So one of my favourite things that it would do is there would be like, it would open on an establishing shot of a windy, rainy, stormy day, and you would get water and wind coming at you as you're watching it.
The weirdest one was like whenever there was an explosion, there was these little like, I guess it's sort of like paddles, soft paddles on a central axis, and the thing spins, so it's like hitting the back of your feet. Did you get
Yeah,
that?
I don't like that one too much.
So whenever like the characters were running and like an explosion went up beside them, or like something hit the ground and sprayed things, you would just have this on the back of your legs.
Yeah, but it feels like just like being whipped by a wire or something. It's just like, ow.
Did you have a skirt on?
Yeah.
When we went to see, yeah, that might be why you felt it a bit more.
I was like, why? This doesn't feel like an explosion. But I appreciated the other stuff. The weirdest one was we were watching the trailers before the movie started, and The Incredibles 2 trailer came on, and every single thing was timed to like a shake.
Yeah.
And it was really, really hard to watch the trailer because literally every time I did a whip pan, which was like every visual joke, because it would be like da 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 whoop, and then someone would say something funny.
Yeah.
But you would be too busy being whipped by your chair, like to the stop of the music in the whip pan to be able to see what was happening on screen.
Yeah.
It would like the baby laughed and the chair vibrated as it laughed. Literally, it's like, why are you? Is this just like responding to sound?
Also,
This feels weird.
Every time it did a cut for the next scene, the chair would be like.
Yeah. It was not good. If that's what The Incredibles 2 experience in 4D is going to be like, I can't recommend it. But yeah, for big blockbuster movies where it's just like, this is not going to have that great a story, but there are going to be dinosaurs roaring at me and running around, then I think 4D is pretty cool.
I think I might. This video is cool, but it doesn't play long enough excerpts of the songs. So let's try this one. Hey, Rabbit, how's it going?
Yo, Rabbit. Good morning.
Here's another picture of Buffy.
Oh no, you're just showing pictures of Buffy.
It was because I went to like look for my reference again, and that was like one of the thumbnails that came up. She's such an adorable thing.
Rabbit says either Buffy is standing impressively still or the Buffy cam is down.
Oh right, no, there's another image next to the Buffy cam to show Buffy when Buffy's not there.
Like a small cardboard cutout Buffy.
Yeah. It's so people can like, because if we just had the Buffy cam, it would be like, okay, cool. There's a cat gonna be somewhere in there, but we don't know. Like, there's. I guess if I remove the picture, there'd be anticipation.
You know what I really like? I like when you go to a zoo and there's an enclosure and there's like no label on it, or you don't know what's meant to be in there. And then you just sit staring at it and you're like, what am I looking for?
And there's a reason there's not a label on it.
Is it going to come out? Is it like, what is it? Is that what a Buffy cam is? Without a picture of Buffy?
Yeah.
People are like, what is this? What's gonna is a nude man gonna come dancing out of the doorway? Is it a cat I'm looking for, or a dog? A lizard? A snake?
Yeah, usually the reason for there not being like a label or a picture of what's in the exhibit is usually the exhibit doesn't have anything.
Usually it's because they've eaten the label.
Buffy Safari can.
All smart predators eat the labels from their cages to lure children closer.
You can't label me. Mr. Smiley asks, will you guys play the Hollow Knight DLCs?
Funny story. We started playing the Grim Troop, and we actually have it recorded, the Grim Troop DLC. However, we got stuck on the last boss.
Yeah.
And deadlines came up, and we couldn't continue to like pour a couple of hours into it every day for footage that we couldn't use. So we stopped playing it for a while. But yeah, we're on the last boss of that, and we're still stuck. We're not good enough. We're rubbish.
Yeah.
Help.
I was getting into like the Grim Group Troop. I was getting into the like second stages of it, but it was really hard.
It's tough. It's a tough boss.
Respect
to anyone who has or can beat that, because that is a tough fight. we were watching someone who was doing it, getting no hits on them.
Or we watched, yeah, you
so
watched that. I
awesome.
didn't want to watch that.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna watch this in case there's any techniques we can take from this. That's gonna help us. And no, they were just really, really good.
I started using a group of charms that let me go faster. That was fun.
Goop droop. We used to have time to play games. Well, more like we used to make time to play games.
Yeah, well, Neil, we have Let's Plays on our YouTube channel. We played through Night in the Woods, and then did an animation at the end of it. And also Hollow Knight.
And I started to do an animation at the end of it, but again, deadlines came up and I didn't have time to do the animation at the end of it properly. It's still kind of half done.
Yeah.
And saved. Kissing Cam arrived a couple weeks ago. I think about two weeks ago. I might decided we should have a puppy cam. I'd like to make time for some Let's Plays again though.
Yeah.
Because the reason we used to do them mainly, besides just wanting to make time for games, is that it was a way for me to do something that I felt was constructive and helpful towards our channel, spend time with Mike, and play games rolled into one. So rather than just play games in my free time where I feel like I should be working, playing games and recording them feels less like I should be working because it's like, oh well, we're doing something cool for our channel.
Yeah.
And I get to spend some time with Mike as well.
It's tricky though, because then it turns it turns recreation and downtime into uptime.
Yes, I don't really mind it though. Like, I enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, it's difficult to find time for sure. Mrs. Smiley says you don't have to defeat the boss, there's a guy you can talk to that basically kills him for you.
Really?
What? Dude, that's crazy. He's so hard. Oh my gosh. And Mrs. Smiley says, also, ha, I defeated him. I earned achievements for Hollow Knight besides the speedrun ones. That's awesome. Dude, impressive. Nice work. Gosh, he's so hard. Yeah, Tibbs, I'm with you on that. I hate the term free time. No time is free. Losing a second is terrifying. I agree. It really irritates when people take longer to do something than they need to. Because it's like, this is your life. This is your life and you're wasting it. Like, if you're not enjoying doing that, if you're just putting it off, just get it over with.
Yeah, or admit that you don't want to do it.
Yeah, either don't do it or do it quickly. Because, you know, you're not getting those minutes back. Ellie's like deep breathing. Deep breaths. Sorry, Eileen. This is probably why people describe me as intense. I'm not sure being described as intense is a good thing, is the problem. I've never heard anyone described as intense in a positive way.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, what's Inja like? And everyone goes, she's pretty intense. I don't feel like it paints me in the best light.
You are pretty
Intense.
intense.
Damn it.
What do you mean, damn it? You did it to yourself.
Yeah, but I don't want to be intense. I want to be like cool and hip and fun. I don't want people to be like, she's intense.
I will do the music today, Hardy. I promise. Like, I'll do it after the stream.
Oh yeah, I have thought to him about it yesterday. I would like to say that I have no sway over Mike and what he does, and that I try
My brain was fried yesterday though.
But it wasn't even Friday. Aha.
Oh.
It was a really bad joke.
Yeah. I only realized
No.
it was a joke
It's okay.
because
You don't have to
you
justify.
laughed, but that's because like Friday was the extra frying day.
It was extra frying actually. It was crazy. I was also ill Friday and it was a deadline. It was awful. But we got it done.
We do use OBS. Ahmed Bilal.
Obs. It's Ahmed Bilal.
I can't say I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play the pressing game, but if it's got an interesting story or interesting mechanic, I'll give it a shout.
Mr. Smiley says, you guys like depressing games? Because if you do, you should play Lisa the Painful RPG if you can. I've heard Lisa's really good. I don't tend to like depressing games because I like to be happy. But if it's a good game, I'll definitely play it. Like, I do like being moved by games. Like, I like being emotionally affected by games. My favourite games are the ones which have an emotional impact on me. So I could end up really loving it. Right, let's just think about instead. They're saying you're intense. And Aline says, you're cool, India, in your own way. Thank you. Tiff says that I've now reached a number of frames in this next section where I can feel the camera movement and what have I done. I love it, but cameras were not meant to move this much. Can't wait to see it, Tibbs. I bet it's awesome. I bet it's awesome, says Aaron. I'm gonna move his face a little bit. Just a little bit.
Tim says, I love when Doig addresses a comment and then India immediately notices it and starts her own conversation about it as if Doig never said a thing. I look forward to it every stream. It happens the other way though.
Does that happen? Did I just do that?
Well, I said, oh, I don't really like to play depressing games.
Oh, did you? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's my bad.
I do the same thing though.
I get overexcited. I will try and listen more.
OBS have delay though. There's a delay associated with any stream. It doesn't delay on our side though. It just there's a couple of seconds before it shows you what we've done.
Yeah, I've heard that's a latency thing.
Yeah.
I think a couple of people have tried to get rid of it unsuccessfully that I've seen, and they're kind of big YouTubers. So I'm assuming that if they're having trouble getting rid of it, it's something that's going to be tough no matter what you're using.
Okay.
Mr. Smiley says, yeah, it's got a really good story and some pretty weird, interesting gameplay. It's also pretty funny if you're into dark humour. It's also the only game that's ever made me cry. Wow.
Ooh, I bar then.
We're like, it made you weep? Fantastic. Sign us up. That's great. I think if a game makes you have an emotional reaction, it's definitely doing something right.
Yeah.
I should say, if the game makes you have an emotional reaction, it wants you to have.
Oh, right, yeah. Not like an adverse kind of like, I hate this reaction.
Yeah.
Unless you're meant to hate it, in which case, cool.
Well done, game. You achieved what you wanted.
Which was revilement.
Mm-hmm. It's okay if people hate me because that's what I wanted. Everything about me is designed for this.
The way video streaming works is that packets of video are sent in 10 to 20 second segments. Twitch has slightly smaller packets than YouTube. That also means it's a little less stable. Yeah, I find the delay on Twitch is less than on YouTube. We're currently using Restream though, so we're going to YouTube, Twitch, and Picardo at the moment.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
To the song of 19 viewers, apparently.
Whoa. Well, that's fairly high numbers for us.
It is, yeah.
We're very popular with our friends.
But YouTube is where everyone's at. So that's where everyone's chatting.
Yeah, that's like our hub, I guess. It's where we put all our stuff. So we put it all in the YouTube closet and close the door. Wow, I'm
Do you
so
know what?
smiling.
This music is super epic and intense and everything, but it's not going with the mood. So let me just
What kind of mood do you want?
Ghibli jazz.
Ghibli jazz.
Ghibli jazz. This is more our speed. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tibbs.
Grog says I still haven't seen Grave of the Fireflies. Me either, Grog. Not sure I want to see it. Everything people say about it just makes me want to see it less.
Oh, you've not seen Grave of the Fireflies?
No, everyone keeps telling me about how like horribly distressing and horrific it is. And I'm like, maybe I'll just watch the Goofy movie again.
Yeah, that one's definitely made to make you think.
Grog says, there's music playing?
There is. It's down quite low though.
The Giblet Triplets. The Ghibli Gibbers.
Are you inventing? What are you?
I'm inventing band names.
Let's see. Well, I'm not familiar with the film This Corner of the World, but I'm guessing it's just as harrowing.
Oh, stretchy.
The Giblets of Belleville.
I like it. Yeah, and that's I don't know if I can stomach watching it again. You see, now that doesn't fill me with confidence that this is a movie I'm going to enjoy.
You might like it.
Me?
Yeah.
But I get sad easily from sad stuff.
I know, but you hate children.
But no, I don't hate children.
You do.
They just make me feel kind of awkward.
Oh my god, we were outside yesterday. Okay, no, like 2 days in a row, okay? Right.
Like, kids have weird reactions to me, okay?
So
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, there's like a kids science museum or some shit like near us.
It's called the Imagine.
No.
What?
Go back to be able to Google it. Shush.
So?
So no, everything. Shush.
Like, come and assassinate us.
And
We know that's why you're really watching.
So we're sitting next to the fountain there, and we're having like lunch or something. It might have been like breakfast. And this kid who was like along the wall that we're sitting on, he literally just kept like walking up to India and like, you know how you kind of try and see someone's face, and he did it, and he was just like, I just looked at her and she like looked back at him and he didn't say anything.
I want you to know that he was literally like 30 centimeters from my face.
Yeah.
Every time.
And he was holding a truck, I think. And then he would like the kid's father and stuff would sort of like grab his hand and pull him away again. But he did this 2 or 3 times. Like, not saying... I think he was thinking you were someone else, and he was like trying to make sure it was you.
Maybe, but like, kids do have rude reactions to me. Like,
so
I don't know if you've noticed, but when I go into town, kids will point at me a lot and then say stuff to their parents. I never know what they're saying.
I've not noticed that at all.
I tend to get pointed at a lot by young children. And
Maybe
then
they
yesterday,
think you're one of them.
And yesterday we were sat outside, also just like chatting and hanging out and talking, and a kid comes up to us, like he was like sat on the other side of the wall where we were sitting, with his family, and they had like a tent, and he comes up to us and goes, "Excuse me, that is my tent. It's mine.
Don't touch it."
And then he walks off again. I'm like, don't want to touch a stupid freaking tent. It's a stupid tent anyway. My tent will be way better than that.
Tip says it's because most kids think India is a fellow child.
Just a really tall fellow child.
That might be it. Because, like, you're not that tall. And so you might just be like this giant kid to them.
You're not that tall either. There are people who are shorter than me. Much shorter than me.
You keep saying this. We're like going into town. She's like, "There's people who are shorter than me," and I'm like, "Yeah, they're called children, India."
No, there are guys. I'm 5'3". That's not that short. There's plenty of people I know who are 5 foot or less.
Children.
No. Other people.
Old ladies.
Other people. There are other people. There are male and female friends of similar age.
India, you think I'm tall, and I'm not tall.
You're taller than I am. It's very tall. You're very tall.
I'm not. I'm like below average.
No, you're pretty tall. How tall are you? 5'7"?
5'8.5" or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's pretty tall. It's pretty tall. I used to date someone who was very, very, very tall.
Oh my gosh, he was tall.
He was very tall. All physical contact was difficult. I needed like a bounce pad, like a spring. Every time like a hug was required, a spring would also be required.
Yeah.
How tall did I say? 5'3". 5'3". Grog, you're tall? No. I like pretending in my mind that you're not. And I thought you were already pretty tall. Kids, why do you hate being average height? You don't get people making fun of you being a dwarf all the time. Seems pretty cool. You get to reach things.
Take care,
like,
Sammy.
Mike wouldn't be able to just put the cereal on top of the fridge and prevent you from ever reaching it.
I don't put it in the fridge anymore.
No, it's only because you can't.
Yeah, sometimes.
Now that there isn't a top of a fridge for you to put it on. See you, Steiny. Night night, sweet dreams.
Yeah, we were sitting down when we saw you, Grog.
So it doesn't count. Grog, you have to pretend for my own security. I can guarantee that within the year since I've seen you, you'll have shrunk in my mind. And at least like 4 inches or something.
Oh
And so
my.
next time I see you, I will be surprised by your tallness. I think my brain just does that to make me feel better. Pip says, I hate feeling tall. I used to be short and I loved it. Then I had a crazy growth spurt that murdered my knees. And I couldn't walk for 6 months. I do not associate tallness with good.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that sounds intense. And not like in a tent, but for the other kind. That's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty harrowing.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind being short. It's pretty cool. People underestimate you a lot, which is helpful. It means that you get the drop on them in fights.
Drop on them.
You do, because
Like
they're like,
some
ha
sort
ha
of
ha
drop
ha,
down.
and you're like, oh, and they're like, oh, God, no, jeez. And
Yeah.
you're like, didn't expect that, did you?
No.
And then you have the upper hand of surprise on your side.
And then you lose the upper hand of surprise.
But then you resort to pinching, and you realise people have forgotten how painful pinching can be.
Yeah.
And you realise that it's a great weapon. That's
What
my
is
tip
it?
to you guys.
You employed a new weapon yesterday. I'm trying. Oh, that was it. You just shook me.
I enjoyed that. Mike didn't know what was happening. It was great.
I was just sort of like relaxing on the floor. I'd been petting the cat. And then India attacked me.
This is what happens if you show your underbelly to me.
Playfully.
I'm like a raptor.
But then
You
she just-
expose your weakness.
You just sort of like grabbed my clothing or whatever and like shook me in one direction and then pulled me in the other direction. I had no idea what was going on.
I was emulating the death roll of the common crocodile.
Oh man.
It was great though. You looked very shocked.
I would look very shook.
That's what you said. I like that at the end. I'm shook.
It's quite weird to experience being like physically shaken.
Yeah. Like some kind of cocktail.
I tell you though, India's greatest weapon is her butt.
Oh yeah.
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 Because like usually she uses that when we're walking like side to side, it's like side by side, and I'm like watching out for flailing limbs or whatever,
Because you got to.
and then she'll just do a hip check, and like her hip is the same height as my thigh, and so it's like the deadening of the legging.
The tending of the legging. 4. The deadening continues. Hip checks are great.
So if the average female height is 5.30839895501.
See?
Yeah, that's a decimal though.
Huh?
So a third of a foot, so it's like 5.455.
What? I'm sorry?
What?
What?
5'3" is an average. 5'5" is average.
Is it?
Yeah.
How do you know? It just... But
Maths.
Smiley just said 5.3. Dead like 2, like it's still deceased. Ooh, being on crutches for 6 months is also a great weapon. You make fun of the cripple, you get a steel bar to the shin. Who's a cripple now? Bish. I like using bish instead of
Yeah.
biatch.
Yeah, fish is good.
Bish is good. I'm stealing that. That's great. Mike has his own set of weapons, which is great.
What do I have?
You just have pure bare strength that you can sometimes use to overpower me. When you get me pinned, there's nothing I can do, and then you tickle me, then it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Then I have to resort to like
That's the best.
mental warfare
Oh yeah.
instead.
What she means by mental warfare is she moans like she's in
I
pain. Or
whine.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I pretend to be injured until he drops his guard and then I attack him again.
Dirty tactics.
Swift don't learn. I think actually one of the best tactics though when you're fighting that I use a lot on Mike is just to grab someone's thumbs and don't let go of their thumbs. And you'll be surprised how little they can do if they don't have the use of their thumbs.
Rightfully so. That's just why like Doig overpowering Swift. Ooh.
Don't worry. Actually, Mike normally comes off worse from the fights.
It's
I think-
usually self-preservation at that point.
I think Mike is scared to actually hurt me. So he doesn't put his all into the fights.
I'm not scared. Just don't want it.
Frightened. Morning, Bridie! We're talking about fighting. Ooh! Tiz put a gif in the feedback place.
Sweet. Feedbacker. What you don't understand, Mr. Smiley, is this is the room, and you've entered it. Ah, da, da. Let's see. Oh, thanks, Tiny. Tiny did the stream announcement for me.
Oh, that's
oops.
cool.
I
I think Stanley went to bed a little while ago though.
Yeah.
Maybe he's feeling a little warmth now from our thank you. He's like, oh, someone thanked me. Is it as hot on Ireland as it is in Wales? It is! Oh my gosh, it's so warm here.
Tiny, tiny gift.
It's really warm. Woo, woo. I love it so far. I really love that first jump where the camera follows behind. And the tilt is super nice. The tilt is so good.
Very cool clips.
19 degrees. That is pretty hot, Hardik. It's hot for us.
Yeah, it's warm here.
It's warm. We had to open the window in our room because our room is like a greenhouse. We woke up yesterday, like just plastered to the bed, peel ourselves off. It was awful.
Yeah.
We were like, we're opening the window.
That's what happens when we don't wake up early. It's like the sun makes its way around to that side of the building and then starts to heat the room up.
It's like a magnifying glass into our room. $27. That's crazy hot. 25 is normally about as hot as it gets in English summers. Like, I think 30 is like the peak.
Yeah, I think it's around about that.
No one's hotter than you, Hardik. How hot is it over there? Out of curiosity right now. Probably ridiculously hot. I don't think I could take it. Ooh. Smiley says, by the way, my theory is that Hollow Knight is actually about the colonization of Australia and the disappearance of Aboriginal culture. I know I sound crazy, but I got proof. That does sound crazy.
I think it's maybe...
That sounds super crazy, but if you've got some proof, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear your theory.
I think possibly it is an allegory for that sort of human behaviour, but I'd be interested to know why it's specifically Aboriginals. Because you think about the colonization of America, and the colonization of South Africa, and the colonization of, you know, pushing your culture upon and into geographic locations. Australia is not that unique in that regard. So if there's references within the game to Aboriginal culture, then
I think
interesting.
I'm just very very dumb, and I was just like, cool, insects and light, that makes sense. A worm exploded, what? That was like the extent of what I got.
You had some pretty crazy theories about the game, though.
About the story, I did, but I didn't relate it to anything in real life. I was just like, maybe the bugs did this and then that happened. So, like, I haven't related it to any kind of... I haven't allegorized it. I haven't seen it as an allegory for anything.
Yeah.
Tiff says you all missed my amazing temperature joke on Ethan's stream the other day. He was like, we were in the 90s last week. And I said, that's crazy. We haven't been in the 90s for almost 20 years. That's pretty good, Tibbs. 41 degrees. 41 degrees centigrade where Hardic is.
And he's saying that's pretty chill.
It's like twice the temperature it is in England.
Yeah. I can't really relate to 40 degrees.
You can't relate to it.
No.
You just haven't had that experience.
I've never experienced, like, is that kind of sauna temperature?
I think, like, if I were to take you upstairs and turn on, like, the oven and then stand you in front of it with the oven door open all day, that's about...
Yeah, well, no, because the oven is going to be, like, 200 degrees Celsius.
You won't be inside the oven, Mike. It's giving me a dirty look.
I just mean the heat like coming away from the oven is going to be that hot.
I think you probably would be about sauna temperature. I think you're right. Too hot. Inescapably hot. I think it would be maddening to live with that, like, every single day. I need like an ice bucket for my feet.
So Hardik, when are you moving out of India?
Yes.
When is the plan for that? If you don't want to like talk about that now, it's fine. But what's your escape trajectory? I don't know why my voice went like that.
Your escape trajectory. That's a good way of putting it, though.
The Team Cherry developers are Australians. I thought they were British. Why did I think they were British? Maybe I think someone else is British.
I don't know. But let me read out these bits of evidence because it's kind of interesting.
Oh no, they are Australian. Cool.
So yeah, Team Cherry developers are Australian. 2, the moths believe in dreams and Aboriginals believe in the dream time. 3, the worms created Hollow Nest, and in Dreamtime myths, the rainbow serpent created Australia.
Cool. Yeah, it probably is then.
I don't know. But I'd be interested to see like a theory or something on that where it digs even deeper into it. You know? I think that'd be kind of cool. It just goes to show you though, the thing you should worry least about when writing a story is whether it's original or not. Because all stories have been done and all stories take from history or other places or other stories. The most important thing is that it says something that you feel is true or important.
Yeah.
The most important thing is what you're trying to say is your story. Not whether someone else has done something about insects or something about, I don't know, space or something else about this or that. In the end, you can tell the same story 100 times in different clothing.
That was one of the criticisms of Avatar I heard from someone, was like, that's just Pocahontas in space. And like, why is that criticism? So well, it's just
Yeah,
the same story in
Pocahontas
space.
is just West Side Story.
Yeah.
You know, everything is just something else.
Stories are meant to be retold.
I think the real criticism though was that it didn't say anything new. And that was what they meant by it's just this, is that not only that story is similar, I think what they meant is the actual meaning was similar. The creators didn't feel like they were saying anything new with it.
I don't think that particular person was thinking that deeply about it.
They might not have been thinking that deeply about it, but I think the reason that they thought they didn't like it and the reason they actually didn't like it may have been different.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, they were like, oh, well, it's just this story again, but what actually they were feeling is that it wasn't saying anything new. But they didn't know how to articulate that, other than just saying, oh, well, it's just Pocahontas. Which, it doesn't matter, because Pocahontas is a story that's been told a bazillion times in different ways.
Yeah. I like Dances with Wolves. That's a good film. So Hardik answered my question with saying that they have no idea, and neither do they have any confidence to just move out unless their family kicks them out or something. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think you would need to have a job to move to, Hardik. Or
Yeah.
at least you would have to have enough freelance coming in that you felt confident that it would continue coming in. If you got a job in another country at an animation studio or something, then that would be reason to move.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, moving something with financial stability.
Mm-hmm. Or if you had enough freelance on to be able to be like, well, I've saved up X amount of money now. It's very difficult though, like especially moving country is difficult. Like we experienced in Ireland when trying to find a new place to live, that being freelancers, trying to live somewhere is difficult. People want you to have full-time jobs.
Yeah, landlords do. Yeah.
Yeah, where you have more than just the promise that the project is going to go on till X date. They want you to have a salary, so they can predict that the rent is going to be not a problem. It's going to keep coming in on a certain day.
But wait, there's more, says Mr. Smiley. 4. The Pale King tried to steal away the radiance, making people forget. And the settlers did the same. I also believe the Pale King and White Lady represent the British settlers. The infection represents smallpox, a disease that wiped out hundreds of Aboriginals. But the infection was a... The infection was a side effect of the sealing away of the radiance, so it gets a little muddled there, but yeah.
I got a little muddled, all in all, in the theory of Hollow Knight. It's been a little while since I played it and I've forgotten some of the details.
It's such a good game.
It is a really good game. And now it's out for the Switch, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think people are starting to like pick it up that wouldn't have previously played it. I saw like someone Auntie had done like a fan art of it, so I'm guessing she picked it up for the Switch recently.
Yeah, and Otla got it recently as well for the Switch.
Ah, okay, cool.
So that's really cool. It's a great game, so it's awesome to see people playing. A fair number of people got it for the PC though, I think as well.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a small release, it did really well for itself, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
It deserves to. It's a very, very polished game. Yeah, Grog, it would be great on Switch. It's like a perfect game for Switch. Oh, I hope you can save up for it. It will give you many hours of happiness. If you like just exploration and stories that don't kind of shove themselves in your face, but leave you to do some of the groundwork yourself to working them out, then you'll enjoy it. Mrs. Molly, you're not writing or asking too much at all, don't worry.
We like having stuff to learn.
Yeah, and it's a very chill stream. Yeah. I would be interested to see like some kind of theory video or write up on it.
Yeah.
I kind of wish you could just ask Team Cherry.
You probably could. Like through.
You could tweet them.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I saw these similarities and was wondering if it was an allegory for this, or if I'm just reading into it. I love the art style of that game so much.
I like that it keeps it on your toes. Like everything's kind of rendered in the same way, so you're not sure what's gonna be what when you approach it for the first time.
That's true. Yeah. It's true. You never know what's gonna move and attack you, or what's just gonna talk to you.
Brian's asking if you figured out the problems you were having with the Grand Animate project.
I did figure out some of them, I feel, but others I haven't figured out yet. I got a bit itchy, and so I started animating the first bit of it, because I feel confident that this first bit I quite like. So I feel okay about animating it. I don't feel like it's going to change. It's for later on bits that I'm a little bit more apprehensive about. But with the time pressure closing in, I figured I'd better just get started. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Crowd's like, Hollow Knight for Smash!
Oh my gosh!
That would be cool.
He would clean up. You kidding me? Hollow Knight would kick everyone's asses.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I said
I don't know.
It.
Yeah. They are pretty good. I'm looking forward to Hornet being a playable character.
Yeah, I think we'll grab that when it's available.
Yeah.
I think the Gods and Glory one is coming out soon as well.
When's the deadline? The deadline's in about a month. Seemed like I had so much time to do it back at the beginning.
You'd be doing other stuff then.
Yeah, I got a bit distracted by other projects.
I would let them know now that you're feeling like you're behind.
Okay, yeah. I hate doing that. I hate telling people there's problems when I feel like the problems could go away. But
it's better to let them know that you're like, a month is pretty close, how's everyone else getting on?
yeah.
Sort of thing. Than telling them in a week before going, and then to be like, why didn't you say anything?
Yeah, it's true. I'll say it publicly too, on the Discord, so that if other people are feeling the same way,
Yeah.
they can have one.
Aline says, but it's better to tell them ahead.
100%. I need to practice what I preach. The last Patreon post we put up, I literally said,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're going to have problems hitting the deadline, tell them early. You know. Doesn't make it easy to do though, just because I said it.
Hollow Knight's final smash will probably be what he does at the end of the game, which I won't describe. I say he, they.
I like to think about all the different attacks I could have depending on the badges. Like, I'd love to have a Chidler's attack.
So obsessed with them Chidlers.
They're so fun.
They are pretty fun. I hate how they steal your ability to heal though.
Well, yeah, that's parenthood.
Children steal your ability to heal yourself.
They do.
I think you're no. I think you're Miss No.
You think I'm Miss No?
Yeah. Yeah, the end of the true ending. I think you're misunderstanding what parenthood is if you think your children steal your regenerative ability.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going by what I've seen. Shriveled adults and plump children. People I once thought I knew, now just hollow husks.
Please never describe children as plump again.
Plump children.
No!
With their plump fingers and their plump eyeballs, all are shining.
You sounded like a witch.
Their little teeth and their little mouths are laughing at you.
Plum children.
I always really liked Smash, but I think that's mainly because Sonic got added as a character, and then I played as Sonic, and it was awesome.
Oh, he's ridiculous.
He's so good.
You just end up like putting yourself off the arena with Sonic.
It was great. Me and Mike did an entire all Sonic run.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was also confusing.
Toon Link's my jam though.
Toon Link's awesome. He's really, really good. I think I've always really liked fighting games though. Like, I really, really like Street Fighter. And I really, really like Street Fighter versus Marvel. No, it's Marvel versus Capcom, my bad. I really, really love that game.
You know that, like, the order of the way that it's said, like Marvel versus Capcom or Capcom versus Marvel is, depends on which studio made it.
No! That's
so, like,
cool. Makes sense.
Yeah, like, when it's one way, I can't remember which way is which. I assume it's like when it's Marvel versus Capcom, it's a Marvel game studio, associate studio that makes the game, so it's got a different slant to it. And then when it's the other way, it's the other way.
Mhm. Ahmed Bilwell says, "Did you guys ever have days where you just can't do anything? Like yesterday, I tried to do a simple walk cycle, which I've done tons of times. Although I just for some reason couldn't make it good." Yeah, we definitely have days like that. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah, I started off my day a bit like that because I was trying to do something from my head, and instead I've used reference to give me a kind of step towards that.
Yeah, reference is a really good way to get unblocked. But yeah, I've had plenty of days like that where I've been like, I'm trying to do this thing and I know what I want, and it's very clear in my head, but I just can't make it a thing. Like, it's just not working. And I don't know why, and I don't know how to fix it. And no matter how many times I try, this just isn't feeling right.
Ali says that's every day.
Yeah, sometimes it's a struggle. You just gotta push through it and know that there will be a good day again. But yeah, using reference to help you get unstuck is a good shout. Brian said that was my weekend.
What were you trying to do the weekend, Brian?
And Grog says most days for me.
You can take struggling as a good sign, though. It means you're pushing beyond what you're familiar with.
Yes.
As you're growing.
100%. If you're out of your comfort zone and trying something new and struggling with something, it means that you're growing and learning.
Your anthology comic. Cool.
Awesome. It can be hard though. You know what's most frustrating is when you have loads and loads and loads of work on and you've got no time to do the stuff you want to do in your personal projects. And you're like, God damn, when I get some spare time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get like 2 or 3 days of completely free time.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes, finally I can hit it. I can do it. And you get to those days and you're just like, either I have no motivation to do it,
mm-hmm.
or it's not coming out right,
yeah.
or suddenly everyone's decided they're going to call me, or this errand I need to run, or this has broken.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something.
I think you're describing lots of different issues, like a confluence of...
Yeah, I mean, the most frustrating one of those is when you let yourself down and you're like, I didn't do anything this weekend, and it's not because I didn't have a time, it's because I had the time, but for some reason I chose to just spend it doing other stuff, even though I really wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Like, often I do that when I'm scared of a project. Like, I really look forward to doing it, and when I come to do it, because I feel so much pressure to do it well, I'll run away from doing it.
That's all, yeah.
Like, it's easy to be enthusiastic about something when you're just looking forward to doing it. When you come to actually do it,
then it becomes like an obligation or work.
well, then it becomes something that you can fail at.
The thing to remember, and this is scary, but if you're scared to do something because the result is unknown, where like, I'm scared to say something in case I say something stupid. If you don't say anything at all, that's an automatic. Like, in terms of failing, that's maybe the harshest one.
I think what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah.
I think what you're trying to say is, if you don't try, then you're gonna fail automatically.
Yeah.
If you do try, at least you have a chance of success.
That's a better way of phrasing it, yeah.
You know, like if you're like, oh, I have this deadline, I'm too scared to do it, and you just don't, then of course you're gonna fail that deadline. If you've got a deadline, at least you try to do it. You might not get the best grade if you don't get it done on time, but you'll at least get a grade. And you have the chance of doing it and getting it finished.
Yeah.
What's helped me more than anything though is trying not to worry about failing at all as much. Like, maybe assume that it's going to be a failure the first time and make your peace and be okay with that.
Make your peace with it.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Worry about making it good if you have more time later. Like, that goes just more or less for first drafts of things.
Yeah, that's the first draft mentality.
Like, when you're just trying to get an animation roughed, you know, when you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this animation and plan this out and thumbnail this out, and then you get to do it and you're like, I have to do this instead. And you run away from it.
Yeah. Maybe
let go of the thought that it has to be perfect first time. And just put something down. Because it doesn't matter if it's rubbish, because these are your thumbnails, right? This is the part where you get to explore and play around.
This is the part where you're meant to get it wrong.
Yeah. You fail forward and you have fun with it, and I know that's really, really hard to do. It's hardest to do when you have to show it to people at some point. But it's far better to show people a lot of stuff, a lot of different ideas that may not be right, than it is to say, well, I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, here is one really polished idea that I'm not too sure about.
Mm-hmm. And
I don't know if that's helpful.
Mr. Smiley, when you're asking it, like chapter summaries are basically 1 page long. Even my English teacher yelled at me for it. If you can't summarize something succinctly, I think it usually shows that you don't understand it well enough. Like if you try to describe something to someone and you use more like like right now when you can't just succinctly say what you're trying to say, like blah blah blah.
No, I agree.
Like, if you're pitching a story to someone and you can't summarize it in 1 to 2 sentences, it means you have all the different elements aren't locked into something that feels cohesive yet that you can just say. It's like, oh, there's this bit and 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 this bit.
I think it's just that people tend to waffle when they're trying to get around to a point that they can't quite distinguish in their own head yet.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know what your English teacher is trying to teach you, so please take this as a pinch of salt because they could be completely right. But to me, I think the shorter your summary of a chapter can be, the better. There's a famous saying by a famous author whose name I've forgotten. It might have been Charles Dickens. It was someone very good.
It was someone
who said, I wrote you a long letter because I didn't have time to write you a short one.
Yeah.
And that's because writing something really short is really difficult. Like when it comes to a summary or a story or a logline or anything like that, it's really hard to pare stuff down to its essence.
Yeah, it's like
way
saying more
harder.
with less.
Yeah, it's way harder than just taking 1,000 words to describe something.
Yeah.
I think Mike's right. I think it shows a deeper level of understanding if you can succinctly explain it well than if you can go on for a long time to explain it. That's cool. Rabbit says, honestly, the more I've described Quantum Schmucks, which is Rabbit's project, to people, the easier it is to explain and the less details I've shown. So that's a good example of not worrying about getting it perfect first time. Where, as Rabbit's got used to talking to people about it, he's pared it down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
Until it's at the point where it feels good and natural. But they didn't get to that just straight off the bat.
Like, a summary isn't a shortened version of the story. If you think about that, it's not like condensing the whole story into something that's a shortened form of it. It is like extracting the main point out of it.
The essence.
Yeah. And saying that.
And he says, this year I've been doing less than usual and still being just about as tired. And I think it's just because of stressing out too much. I'm going to work on chilling so I don't spend energy on useless worries. Yeah. Worrying does take up a lot of energy. And worst of all, worrying is just really paralysing. Like, worrying stops you from doing anything.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when I start actually working and doing stuff that I'm scared of, the worry goes away really quickly. Like, unless I'm on a tight deadline, at which point I'm just like, I'm not doing this fast enough, and that's an awful feeling.
That's like a disconnected, but like, I was trying to talk to you about this, and you were in the thick of it, and therefore it wasn't...
Was it not a good time?
It wasn't a good time to tell you it, but it was. I still feel like it was useful advice.
Okay.
And it was the deadline on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, you were really concerned about getting that in on time.
Yes.
And it is really important to get stuff in on time. I wasn't trying to argue that point, but what I was trying to say was, if the concern and the worry about getting it in on time like negatively impacts the work you're doing leading up to it, then the deadline isn't useful to you. It's not worth hitting the deadline if the it's not worth emotionally impacting you and impacting the work and letting it impact the work. You know what I mean? Like, adhering to the deadline is not more important than your own, like, well-being, if you know what I mean. Like, if you're like, oh my god, I can't do this, there's not enough time, then it's just like, that's like, put the deadline and the time aside to one side and just go, I need to make this, and just keep working solidly and consistently on it. You know what I mean? It's really hard, but I think that's...
I'm not sure I completely understand.
I think that's why we come at things from two different attitudes, where I seem less stressed, and like from your point of view, it's like I care about things less. Is that if there's a deadline for something, that deadline is useful for me of like, okay, that's how the time is roughly structured, and as long as we kind of keep to that, we'll continue with momentum and we'll continue to work on the project. Whereas you're like, these are iron hard, fast rules. I've made this promise, but the promise becomes such a focal point in your creative process that it's good in a way where it's like, I can't do that because there's not enough time.
Well, understand that I've come from a background where if one person drops the ball on the deadline, it impacts everyone else in the process after them.
Yeah.
Like, you take an extra 3 days to do your deadline, everyone else has 3 days less to do theirs.
Yeah.
You know? I do think deadlines are I think it's really important to keep deadlines when you can. If you can keep a deadline, and it means you have to do a couple of all-nighters to get it done, I'm honestly okay sacrificing that to do the deadline, even if I'm ill, even if I'm tired, because to me it's showing the client and your team not only that you take it seriously and that you follow through with what you want. Cause if you're not taking care, if you're not hitting the deadlines yourself, how can you expect your team to feel like they should be hitting the deadlines?
Yeah.
If they're like, well, they're telling me that I need to have this done by this day, but they just extended the deadline for themselves because they didn't think they could have it done.
Yeah.
And also you're showing the client that you are reliable. You're showing people, when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And I think that's really important, to follow through and to show people that you are reliable, and that if you say you're going to get something done for a certain time, they can count on you to get it done. There are too many times when I feel like I've had to push deadlines. On the important stuff, I try really, really hard.
Not to.
Yeah, not to, because I think it's a bad habit to get into, to feel like those are movable, because that kind of erodes the point of a deadline if you see it as flexible in your head. The reason they work for me is because they're rigid.
I think in that sense, it's good that it's like keeping a promise. I guess. Yeah.
I can see your point too, though. Like, I definitely do. Like, there's a point at which if you are killing yourself for a deadline, you should just bite the bullet and tell people you can't get it done, and you need a couple more days. Because the attitude, when people become very overworked, there are cases in Japan of people just spontaneously dying because they're so overworked and stressed all the time. They have no sleep.
Yeah. They
have no breaks, and their bodies just stop at a certain point. It can be really dangerous. So you want to definitely be careful. And I do think I've probably been overworking myself a little bit too much.
I think it's good to stick to deadlines, but I don't think it's good to stick to arbitrary dates that were set up well in advance that don't take into account, like, I think deadlines should move if the context for them moves. Mm-hmm. Whereas I think you feel like, okay, this is what it was set out, I need to adhere to this.
Yeah, well, basically, if there was a problem with the deadline, I should have said a long time ago.
Yeah.
And if there's not a problem with the deadline, well, that's great then.
I think you felt like the date for the deadline was too close the entire time. Like from the off, you're like, that's not enough time to do this.
Well, I don't know. Like, I put a lot of detail into the work I did.
Yeah.
That wasn't maybe necessary, and I also did a lot of versions of the work.
Yeah.
I didn't just give them the first thing I did. I did several different passes of different scenarios that could happen.
Yeah, you gave them like the 12th pass for a first pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first complete pass, but some of the different scenarios in it had changed throughout the process. Anyway. The more interesting thing here is just a deadline discussion, because that's a bit which is accessible to everyone to discuss.
Yeah. So I was trying to come at the point of like, okay, this deadline doesn't matter. While you're working on it, just keep working, and don't let the worry seep into the work. You know what I mean?
That's so hard, though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Don't let the worry seep into the work. It's like, okay, then I won't. How do you stop the worry when something is very important to you?
I don't know.
Like, stopping worrying is kind of like stopping caring. How can you isolate that and stop it from impacting the work when it's so attached to the work? Like, you're worrying about the work, so how can you detach it from the work?
That is a very good question that I don't have an answer to.
Yeah, I mean, the best way I found was just to stop thinking about who it was for and what it was for, and see it as more like a personal project.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, like, I'm just gonna do me and do what I enjoy doing and not worry about pleasing other people right now.
Yeah, because I think you spent the time leading up. Yeah, okay. You spent the time leading up to the deadline worrying as well.
Yeah, worried all the time. It's worrying.
Yeah. You spend so long trying to get good clients that you really care about that when you actually get them and you really care, you're like, fuck!
Yeah, that's the thing, is people are like, oh man, I want to work for Disney and Pixar. And then they get into Disney and Pixar and they're like, oh god, I'm gonna get fired. Oh man, I can't do this. Everyone's so amazing. Why did I do this? I have a deadline for 3 days away. This is the worst. Nothing is good. And it's like, yeah, you're there, but welcome to this fresh kind of hell, where now you're surrounded by people whose opinions you really, really care about, and who you really, really want to impress. And you feel like a complete imposter being there.
See you, Emma.
You have to prove yourself.
See you, Grog. Everybody leaving.
See you guys. Kieran says, Buffy Cam!
Hey, Kieran.
Hello.
Ali's like, I feel this is why I don't want to get jobs.
Yeah, there's an extra pressure involved when you do something that you enjoy doing, or that you want to do, where you feel like now there's an added pressure to be really good at it, and to equal the talent and skill of the rest of your team, you know?
Buffy has been absent from the cam for 95% of the stream, which is why I put a picture of her there.
Yeah.
So it's not an empty promise.
The empty promise of cat.
Yeah.
Sorry, we didn't fulfill your cat dreams.
Here's another picture of Buffy. Here you go. Yee.
You must always prove yourself. One day you'll be a mentor and have hundreds of people looking up to you as a master. That's never gonna happen. Man, would that be weird?
I thought your quote was gonna be good, but it's I thought your quote was gonna be reassuring.
It's not.
But
though.
It's not.
It's just a weird, creepy cult-like. quote.
You owe it to yourself and the medium to do a good job.
Yeah, it stresses me out too. I'm like, thanks, Milt.
Buffy.
That's great. I'm trying, Milt. Trying my best, god damn it. I mean, it's motivational as well. It is like, sometimes it's what I need to hear is like, do the best you can do. But sometimes what I need to hear is just have fun. Like, I gotta be honest, the animation test that I love the most online, it looks like the person doing it was having a blast.
Yeah.
Like, it really does look like they were having fun. And I think when that's missing from work, that's the thing where it kills it for me.
That's what I kept trying to say, is like, remember to have fun.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Like, I tried my best. I tried my best to have fun. Mandatory fun. Aline.
What are you reacting to? Oh, great.
Master India. Great Master India. That's so weird. No, I don't like that.
You don't like being regarded as a master?
No, I don't.
You're not a master.
That's weird. Then that's another thing to live up to, isn't it?
You owe it to yourself and the medium to be a great master.
I think that's why people always introduce themselves as having like being hobbyists or amateurs. It's just a certain reassurance in telling people straight off the bat you're not very good.
Alright. Yeah.
And lowering expectations, because you feel like if you got to when you're like, I've been doing animation for 70 years and then your stuff isn't very good, that you feel like an idiot and you've let them down.
It's like a shield towards genuine criticism though.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, it's kind of hampering your own development a little bit, because if people think you're just a beginner, they're going to give you different feedback.
I think this is a related topic, but I think if you're working on something and you want feedback on it and you post it and the first thing you say is like, I did this and I think it turned out really well, everyone who would be hesitant to give you feedback on it because they're like, you want to be nice and supportive. If you go, I think it turned out really well, I that makes me go, yeah. You
don't want to give feedback on it.
Yeah,
you don't want to put.
You don't want to dampen that spirit kind of thing. So my advice is, if you ever post something, go, I did this. What do you think?
Yeah, as in, I think what Mike's saying is, don't put yourself down, but also don't be. If you're putting something up for critique, telling people that you're super duper proud of it. It's cool to be super duper proud of it if it's finished and you're just showing it off. If you're looking for feedback, it's hard to give people feedback when they're like, I love that I did this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Because you're like, I don't want to say anything about it because you really like it and I really like that you like it and I don't want to be the person to be like, you could have more squash and stretch here and it would help.
Yeah.
I feel like I had a point to say, but I've forgotten what it was. I don't think it probably wasn't that important.
Mr. Smiley says, gosh, this chill stream has gotten quite serious. It's talking about stress and letting people down, hasn't it?
This happens a lot on the stream. It starts off really goofy and then we start talking about like really big topics.
Yeah. It's okay though, like that is the part of...
That's part of the fun, I think.
Well, that's part of when art is a service in a way, where you're like, you are working for someone else. There's going to be that element to it, and it's good to know that going in.
Which element to it? I'm sorry. The pressure?
Yeah, like when you're making art for someone else's vision or request. The important thing to remember is that they are coming to you because of your expertise. So there's an odd balance between giving the client what they ask for and giving the client what they actually need or want. Like I got feedback on a comic page that I did, and disagreed with the way that they pushed it, and I was like, okay, I see where you're going with that, but how about this? And I pulled it back around to something that was aesthetically was more pleasant, and was more along the lines of what they described to me.
Yeah.
But there's a pressure in going against what the client's like. No, more like this. You're like, yeah, I think you mean this. But you just gotta trust your gut on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or just get really annoyed at them and just show them something that you think is better.
Yeah. Eileen says, isn't it cruel how you can kill a drawing by applying yourself too much? Yes, it is. When sometimes the harder you work on something, the worse you make it. That is a cruel...
Art is a cruel mistress.
It is. It's I'll be really, really good if you don't spend much time or effort on me. It's sometimes very frustrating. And Tiff says, having fun is good. I'm trying to finish this character's role and it's hard, but it's fun too. Especially with these stupid legs that are so fun to draw. Sounds like she's having fun. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much, Tibbs.
Yeah.
You're an inspiration to all. And he says, hey Tibbs, come see a neat room I set up for you. There are mattresses on the walls and floor. It's really bouncy and comfy. Quietly knocks door. That will help.
Help it too.
Yeah. And Karen says, people often aren't ready for a serious crit either. Even me, I got destroyed at a portfolio review last year, and it stung. They were completely right though. Yeah, that's true. It does, no matter what you do, I think it is going to hurt when you get serious critique of someone because you are so attached to your work. The best advice I ever got about getting critiques is shut up.
Yeah, don't defend yourself.
Because there's such a temptation. Every time someone says something about your work to be like, oh, that's because this, or oh yeah, I didn't finish that, or oh, I know that's like that,
yeah,
but this.
Yeah, just shush.
Yeah, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Even if stuff did even if your Cintiq broke on that part, or you didn't have time to finish this part, or you changed that part because of this, what they're saying is still good advice for the rest of your work, probably as well, and stuff for you to bear in mind for the future.
Yeah, the thing is they don't know the context in which you created it, and they don't need to know. Unless they ask you a specific question, something along the lines of what is the purpose of this piece, so that they can then frame their critique of it. Yeah, just shush.
Yeah, if they ask you a question,
Smile
fair
and
enough. But yeah, in general, just be quiet and listen. It's the best advice I got, and it's really hard advice to follow because we want to caveat everything because it's so close to us.
And if you find it hard to stay silent, just be like, oh yeah.
You can ask questions and stuff at the end. Just as they're saying it, try not to interrupt them with caveats and stuff.
Tibbs made a request saying, hey Emily, you know that common animation practice of drawing someone doing a dive roll in perspective that's slowly changing that you have lots of tips for? What are the tips for animating that? Get right.
A dive roll in perspective that's slowly changing and has lots of tips for. What are you just animating that? Okay. Something I learned from Patrick is to prioritise what you want people to be looking at. So if you think people will be looking most at kind of the head and following the head, maybe just animate the head first, and then animate the body following that. My second advice is be very, very rough with it. Maybe just do a couple of rough passes of it, where you're not necessarily doing the final animation, you're more kind of just feeling it out. You know, save yourself a couple of files where you take 10 minutes to just do a really, really rough pass a couple of times. It might give you a better idea of where to tackle it from. Sometimes we need the experience of having done something before in order to do something well. I think we can't rely on just knowing how to do it straight off the bat.
Yeah.
So give yourself a couple of trial runs where you do it super fast, and it should expose problems to you and also help you get a better idea of how to tackle it, I guess. I found that really useful when I was doing motions on the storyboard, is I would storyboard I was doing recently, that was a big deadline.
It's a kitty.
I would save lots of different versions and do a couple of passes until it felt good. Someone sent me a link to the stream where they were talking about breasts. It's for my health homework. Yeah, that. There are too many streams where we talk about boobies. That's the problem. There was a book one too, wasn't there? Our conversation is so lofty here on the morning stream. Yeah, what is Suzanne mode, Aline? Tell me that. Oh, Bryony, some people in work couldn't take feedback. It's always really difficult to watch as well, people not taking feedback very well. Because you don't want to make it worse for them by saying anything about it. It's painful, but it's good. It's a good pain, you know? It's like cauterizing a wound. It's necessary to get better. Eileen wants to grow old like Suzanne. She's cool in general, but she can get really mean if people piss her off. That's my favourite. Oh my gosh, guys. Are you seeing this? It's so adorable. Oh my gosh. She's enjoying it so much. I like people who express their opinions strongly. And I like people who aren't afraid to get pissed off because you feel like they're being honest with you all the time. And I admire people who can express strong opinions because I often worry about expressing strong opinions in case people don't like them and get angry at me for them. I'm a non-confrontational person, apart from physically. Physically, I'm very confrontational.
Physically, you just bash everyone. You granny bash.
I am. She drops a few sentences very calmly, but they scorch talking to people so much they usually freeze and become very quiet. Oh my goodness. Or they just leave without saying anything else. It's so glorious, I only witnessed it twice. So powerful. I love her so much. Aline, one day you will give me a critique as well as Suzanne gives critiques. I mean, I love hearing the criticism she gives you, because she sounds very blunt about it. She's just like, you can't draw shapes. And you're like, what do you mean? But it's great to have someone who's willing to be harsh with you like that. It's a really valuable thing, I think. Like, so long as they're not being vindictively harsh, if it's someone whose work you respect and they're not afraid to tell you what you need to do, that's really valuable.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to why they're saying what they're saying. Mm-hmm. They're trying to push you up.
Yeah. That's not to say that someone who's kind is not a valuable person to get critique from. Like, there are a lot of people I know who are very nice, but they give very good critique as well, and they're not afraid to give it.
Yeah, Patrick's good at that.
Yeah, he is. He's like, the way he gives critique is very palatable and very kind, but he doesn't mince his words. He will tell you about what he thinks the problem is.
Yeah.
The people you want to look out for are the people who are like, it's perfect. Don't change anything.
I think sometimes you think I'm being nice when I'm like, it's awesome. You're like, yeah, but tell me what's wrong with it. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, Mrs. Smiley, each to their own. Ahmed says, I'm the only one that criticises my art harshly. I wonder if you could find a critique group or something. That's awesome. Karen is offering to be sent DMs about their work.
Patrick's too nice. He clearly has an ulterior motive.
Yeah, like wanting you to get better. What a terrible person.
What a terrible person. Sleepy, flumpy cat. I think she's probably been upstairs and it was too warm.
Yeah, maybe so. See you later, Hardik. Say hello to Max from us.
Take care.
Yeah, I think honestly a lot of the reason that I find it hard to show work early, that I feel like work needs to be good, a lot of the reason I stress and worry, and I think a lot of the reason other people stress and worry is down to ego, and the fact that you feel like what you put up has to be good. Like the world's gonna end if people see you do bad work. And I think letting go of that ego has helped me a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Like, getting over the fact that everything I do doesn't always have to be the best. And no one is going to be super offended. And honestly, like, the world doesn't revolve around how good my art is anyway.
The world doesn't revolve around you at all.
Well, let's not go mad.
But yeah, it's true.
But yeah, like it doesn't feel like his ego to worry about letting your team down and such. But at the point where you stop prioritizing getting something really, really good over just telling people there's a problem, it's like, well, who is this for?
Yeah, you're just protecting your own sense of
self-worth. Yeah, is it for you so you can feel good, or is it for the rest of the team?
Like, it's often better to submit early, say you're struggling, so that the person who is like above you in the hierarchy can help.
Yeah.
That's kind of part of their responsibility as well.
Submit rough work and be prepared, like, to submit rough work in order to ask for help for your teammates, because it's meant to be a collaboration.
Yeah.
You know? In order to collaborate, you need to open yourself up.
Also be prepared for them to say, "Oh no, you got this."
Yeah.
Trust your gut.
Be prepared for people to trust in you and for that to be terrifying. Aline, you've never pretended to be great to me. And you are very, very good. Very, 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 very good.
You could be better, Alan.
Well, yeah, everyone could be better.
I know it's such a non-advice, but it sounds harsh, but it's funny to me.
Aw. Tiff says, I actually got the nicest message ever on Twitter yesterday from someone I don't know. And that's the best kind of person to get a nice message from. Yeah, because they've got no responsibility to make you feel good. They have no investment in you as a friend or anything, where they're like, I care about this person so I want them to feel good. Yeah. They're just someone telling you because presumably they like your work.
Tibbs said, why do I feel like when India says submit rough work, she's talking directly to me?
I'm also talking directly to myself, Tibbs.
Yeah, that's because she said that actually to you.
Yeah. You and Elle. But myself too. Like, you guys don't see the struggle, but Mike sees the struggle.
Oh, she's seen how long it took her to talk to Patrick.
Yeah. Patrick kept inviting us onto streams and I kept saying no because I was too scared to talk to him. And actually, don't tell him, but I'm still scared to talk to him.
Yeah, don't tell him.
Don't tell him. He's not here, he's asleep, so it's fine. He doesn't know.
He might be online.
Don't say no.
Nah, he's not.
Yeah. It's good. And stay asleep, Patrick.
Tibbs is going to tell Patrick everything.
Yeah, Mrs. Smiley, I think that's a really, really common feeling. Honestly, I'm the one who criticises my art the most. I hate a lot of my art, and when I show it to other people, they're like, oh man, that's good as. And I'm like, no, it's not. Critique me, please. Yeah. I mean, to other people who aren't artists, I'm sure it does look good. But you want to get critique from someone who's better than you, so that they can see the problems. But it's very frustrating when you feel like an artist who's better at you than you is holding out on you with their critique to be nice. And you're like, no, I can take it. Please tell me how to improve this.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get better, and by not telling me how to get better, you're stopping me from getting better. Like, I know that you can see stuff that I can't in this. But I guess that's probably why people call me intense and don't like being around me too much, so...
Yeah, it's hard to force someone to, like, you have to get out of your comfort zone to, like, be honest with people like that. And pushing someone to do that, like...
Bad plan.
You can often mistake their hesitancy for, like, they're holding back. And while they might be holding back, they might just literally be, like... They don't have something to say.
I see. Mike's saying this from a true place.
So they then search for something to say, and then you stare at them while they're thinking, and you're like, "Oh, if this is taking you so much time to think about, there must be something wrong."
This definitely is not true life. Yeah, like since Mike's right here, I ask for critique from Mike a lot, and what I'm looking for a lot of the time is an immediate response, because I want to see what the gut feeling is of the person straight off the bat. And if someone looks at my stuff, asks to play it 5 times, sits, stares at it for 5 more minutes and goes, "It's good." I'm like, well, what was all that thinking time then? Like, what was your first reaction? Like, tell me what the gut punch was. If you watch it 5 more times, you're diluting your first reaction. And I'm no longer getting the first reaction from you. I'm getting the reaction after you've had 5 times to watch it and think about it, which isn't what most people will be doing. Most people are watching it once and then have a reaction to it. So I'm trying to get the same reaction that the viewers will be having to it when they watch it from you, so I can try and cater it towards that.
Yeah, but the viewers that are viewing it once and only and enjoying it and thinking that's really cool,
but they might not be. They might not be doing that, because but how would I know they're going to do that? Because no one will tell me what they think about it the first time they see it.
Or maybe they...
But yeah, don't do what I just did. Don't pressure people into critiquing if they seem unwilling to. Maybe just try and find someone else. Like, find someone who seems to want to critique it. Like, Patrick is a great person to ask about it. He does streams every weekend. He does great streams. He's like a fantastic animator, incredible animator. And he streams every weekend. From about 6 o'clock our time, which is BST, British Summer Time. So I can definitely recommend his streams. Patrick Stannard, Kilted Animator on Twitch.
I'm surprised he doesn't have more of an audience.
Me too. He's like crazy good and very willing to talk about the process and critique and do drawers on the stream as well, which is great. Anyway, I'm going to catch up with the chat a little bit. So Lee says that Suzanne's not teaching you how to be yourself, she's teaching you one method of drawing. But that's good, because it means that she can critique you on that, because that's kind of her expertise, more or less, right?
That's really good advice, Tills. Don't say, "Can I watch that again?" Say, "I really enjoyed that and would like to watch it again, see if I can catch anything I may have missed on the first watch."
Yes!
That's good.
That's good, because that's giving me immediate feedback. That's giving me your gut reaction and telling me that you might have more to say if you watch it again. And if it's like a not positive thing, you can say, "There's something about that feels off, but I can't place it right now. Can I watch it again to see if I can figure it out?"
Okay, I can see why that's useful.
But either way, that's much more useful to me than just saying, "Can I see it again?" and then sitting in silence. Because while you're sitting in silence, I'm like boiling over.
You were stewing. With
like anxiousness next to you. Like feeling like the silence is a bad sign.
Patrick Stannard, Kilted Animator, and Lord Dirt, all people you should be following. They're very talented. I can only assume they're all separate people because of the amount of work they put out.
Yes.
No. There's one dude.
Yeah, I think that's good, Kieran. Like, going with the gut. Because I think that's what a lot of people... The gut is a really reliable critique tool. Like, people say don't go with your gut sometimes, and I actually find my gut serves me the best. And often that's what dictates whether something's working or not. Because I think a lot of the people who are going to be the viewers or audience of the work will be reacting on gut to it. They will be watching it 5 times and then thinking about it. Like, unless they are a movie critic or something, in which case maybe they'll watch it a couple of times over. But most of the people we're making it for are just going to see it the one time, have a gut reaction to it, and then go.
I try and think about it in a way that, like, if you ask me to dig into it, I have some sort of backup explanation, I guess. So I take a little bit of time to think about it, because I'm like, well, I go, this feels off, and you go, why? And I go, I don't know. You're like, well, there's that expectation from my side.
Yeah, there has to be something. Like, there has to be a little bit of extra information to that. Like, I'm not saying you should be able to tell me exactly what it is that feels off, but you saying either like, well, it felt too fast, or this bit here doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Some
way of targeting it a little bit so I can try and figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, you watching a 3-minute thing and then saying it feels off doesn't help me too much.
Yeah.
It is still helpful. It's more helpful than nothing, that's for sure. I feel like I'm asking too much. But,
it's also interesting to ask someone who feels like they're less informed about something.
Yes.
Because you like ask me about animation stuff a lot because that's what you work on, and I feel like you're more, you know more about animating than I do.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm coming from a less informed position. So I like try and figure out how I can help, but I get caught up on like, oh, I don't really get this as much.
Yeah.
Line of thinking where I'm like, oh, I need to say something clever rather than your gut reaction. Like, that's why I get caught up in. I'm like, I need to find something. I don't. I know. So I'm just gonna be like more from the hip. I'm gonna shoot you from the hip.
Yeah, do that. That'd be great. Yeah, you don't have to be an expert on what you're critiquing to critique it. I think that's a bit of a misconception. Like, you don't have to be a great filmmaker to critique films. As long as you understand where someone's coming from with their opinion. Like, it's most useful for me to get opinions from people who have never seen the stuff before and aren't familiar with animation, because that's who my audience is going to be. So if they get it, then hopefully everyone else will get it too, you know? Whereas with you, it's kind of a little bit preloaded because you already know all the thoughts behind the stuff because I've been talking to you about it.
Alan says a writer was saying this too, saying your audience is always right about what's wrong and always wrong about how to make it right.
Yeah, that's very good.
I just need to identify what feels off, and you can figure out how to make it better.
Yeah.
Tibbs is like, something's not right. Well, no shit. That's why I asked you to look at it. What is not right? Oh, yeah. Aline, take care. Goodbye.
Take care, Aline. We should probably head off too. It's 10:30.
Yeah, we should.
We gotta head off skiing and do some various errands and also get onto some freelance work. But today's been a really fun stream. Thank you guys again for talking to us about the deep stuff.
The
deep cuts. Like how to critique and receive critique. And how to art. Yeah.
I think I'm trying to make that into a pinky and it's actually her thumb.
It is her thumb.
Whoops. It's tricky because, like, okay, I see where I'm going wrong with that. Like, it's supposed to be on the other, like, it's like she's wrapping it around her hair, but it just goes into a bare mane, so let's just do that.
Also, just before we go, Mrs. Smiley says, look up Glummo Geelong street art, that's my dad, and I look up to him so much. He's pretty much the only person who will critique me, even if it's a little bit too much, but he has decades of experience. That's awesome, we will look him up.
Okay, that sounds really cool. Let me just copy and paste that.
Everybody, have an awesome day. Good luck with everything you're going to do. Good luck with everyone who's at work today. Thanks for hanging out with us. It's been really cool to chat to you all. Cool to see some familiar faces and some new people as well.
Yeah, it's been really fun. and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And may it
be filled
with
adventure.
I can't find the window.
Oh,
There we go.
adventure.
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 Goodbye.
Bye.